Hello, Liz and Jessica back. Veterans React. We're going to do a little different video. It's going to be 2 stolen valor, 2 videos on what basic training is like at Fort Leonard Wood, which is where I went to basic training a few years ago. Longer than I'd like to admit. The 2 videos on the basic training, one is extremely recent, like last year, and then one is I think from about 5-10 years ago. Which are both after I went to basic, so they're both a little newer, obviously, than when I went to basic. And then a TikTok video that one of my favorite YouTuber, Angry Cops, reacted to about a woman slamming the military. And what was the other one? Let's see. Oh, military fails. I'm going to try and superimpose this video when I edit our react or our conversation, our commentary. I'm going to try and overlay this video onto it. I am not a YouTube creator, so I do not have the software to be doing all this cool stuff that all these other YouTubers do. I'm working with the free version of Windows Video Editor, so forgive me for that. I'm cheap and poor, and this is only my second time trying to do some YouTube stuff. So let's get into it. Oh, this is my daughter. She's in NJROTC in high school and is planning on eventually joining the military. So the first one is a stolen valor.
So black boots is authorized, no shaving profile, no haircuts, no deployment patch, but you got that badge on.
Wow. So he's an E2, who's a ranger.
It's against the law, bro.
Has a combat infantry badge.
You have dog tags on, but where's your cat card at though?
No unit patch though.
Because I know
no cover.
Black boots are not authorized. Shaving profile.
Oh, he's got a beret in his pocket. That beret, that color beret, is supposed to be for rangers or for special forces.
If you're a ranger, you wouldn't even waste your time talking to us.
But yeah, he doesn't have it on.
And where's your airborne at?
He doesn't have a unit patch.
You don't got airborne? How about that? Or how about that? Or so where's your cat? Those are just pictures, bro. Or that. Where's your cat card at? Doesn't matter. Where's your cat? Do you know what a cat card is? Yes. What is CAC? Identification card with the tip in it. Where's picture, ring? Where's it? I got that. Where is this? So box. You're not squared away. You're not even a real. You're not even a real soldier. You're not a soldier because I'm a United States Army soldier. You're not. That's nothing. Anybody can say anything like that. What is that?
It's a ranger tab and.
Because you're not a real Army fucking soldier. You're not. You're not.
I can't see. What else do you have on?
I know because I am a fucking Army soldier. I know that shit. Bro, you can go and jump with that shit.
Well, at least he's got the Army patch on, Army tab.
Oh, I gotta hit some so much.
Okay, so this one is a Army soldier, female soldier, who goes into a recruiting office asking for money to get back to her. I don't know. We'll watch it.
She's stationed at.
But in case I can't overlay this video, it's a female wearing a uniform with pink and gray tennis shoes. I'm going to put the link to these videos in the description so you can watch what we're watching. Real quick, I want to tell a story that's actually similar to this. When I was at Fort Rucker, I wanted to go visit my mom in New York. She'd moved to New York after I enlisted. I'd never visited her there. She lived in a village called Newark, New York. There is a city in New Jersey, a big city called Newark, New Jersey. So I requested leave to go visit her. I got approved. I think I was going to be gone for a week, maybe? A little less than a week, something like that. I don't remember. And I booked my tickets, my plane tickets online from Fort Rucker, and it was the first time I'd ever booked my own plane ticket. I felt like such an adult. That was what made me feel like an adult. Not being in the military, the fact that I was booking my own plane tickets. Anyway, so I booked a plane. I booked a flight from Dothan, Alabama to Newark International Airport. Okay. So I got to the Newark International Airport. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was tired. I had the big green duffel bag because no, I had my big green duffel bag and a black Army duffel bag that I gotten from the PX. And I got there. The USO was closed. And a Port Authority cop came up to me and he was like, "Are you lost?" And I was like, "I'm just trying to get home. I'm trying to get a cab to get to my mom's house." So I went to the payphone because we still had payphones back then. And I called my mom and I realized that it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. But she answered. And real quick, when I tried to call, it said, deposit another $1 or $2 or whatever for a couple minutes. And I was like, why the hell is it costing so much to call like up the road or something? Well, it turns out I went to the Newark International Airport, which is in New Jersey, not New York, where my mom lived. So I explained to this Port Authority cop that I am in the wrong state. He asked me for my ID, and I gave him my military ID because I didn't have a driver's license at the time. So he was like, "Oh, you're in the military. Well, I'll help you out." So he calls the someone who was working at the airport in the National Guard, because this is post 9/11, so there was National Guard all over the airport. He calls that NCO from the National Guard, and the NCO came up just yelling at me, "Why aren't you in uniform and this, and where's your leave paperwork?" And so I gave him my paperwork, and I said, "Well, I'm not traveling in uniform because I'm on leave, and I don't want to be in my uniform. I don't have to be in my uniform." Well, so the Port Authority cop actually stood up for me to this National Guardsman who was just bitching at me. Just bitching. "I'm going to call your commander and you're going to get in trouble." And I was like, "Call him. You're going to be the one in trouble because it's 1 o'clock in the morning." Actually, I think it was like midnight or something in Alabama. But I wouldn't call him at midnight even if like I'd been shot because he was not the nicest person in the world. So the National Guardsman said he was going to arrest me because I wasn't in my uniform. The Port Authority cop stood up for me, and he actually loaned me the money to take a cab from Newark, New Jersey to Newark, or to Lyons, New York, which was not too far from where my mom lived, and she could just pick me up from there. So, long story short, the Port Authority cop gave me the money for the cab, called me a cab, told the cab where I needed to go, explained why it was so far away. I got to my mom's house, did had my little vacation with my mom and my dad, and when I got back to post, I tried to send this Port Authority cop his money back. And he gave me his address and phone number, name, and everything. I tried to send the money back, and by try, I mean I sent the money in a money order to him, and he sent it back to me, and then some more money. And was like, "Well, thank you for your service." And I was like, "No, it's cool. I'm a single person." At the time, I was actually engaged to her father. But I'm single. I don't have any kids. I can afford this. So, all my money goes to food anyway. So don't worry about it. Keep the money. I sent it back to him, and he sent it back. I sent the money back to him. Then he sent it back to me, and I said, "Okay, fuck it. I'll just keep the money." Long story that had no real point, but I get what she's trying to say. I mean, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you are trying to get somewhere while you're in the military when you're on leave and just shit happens and you get stuck. It's happened to me. It actually happened another time. I was traveling in uniform because I was going from Fort Leonard Wood. No. I was going from Fort Campbell to Fort Rucker. No? Yeah. Fort Campbell to Fort Rucker, and I got taken off the plane because the other passengers were uncomfortable with a soldier in uniform being on the plane. Because that should make you scared being on a plane. People, if there is a uniformed soldier on your plane, that's probably safer for you. What kind of jackass is going to try and hijack a plane while there's a soldier on there? Anyway. Thanks, Continental, for you know, kicking me off the plane because people aren't comfortable with a uniform on the plane. Still a little bitter. Okay, first of all, an 06 makes a whole lot of money. Whole lot of money. And if you don't have any money and you're an 06, then you've probably got some habits. Second, if she's traveling, she's being stationed somewhere, which is what she's saying. She's going to wherever. They give you an allowance, a travel allowance. They pay for you to go. They're not just going to say, hey, you have to go to Fort Gordon or you have to go to Fort Irwin all on your own. You got to figure it out. They pay for it. When you PCS, they pay for your furniture to get moved. They pay for your new house if you're living, you know, on post. Obviously, you're living in post housing. But they don't just tell you you have to go somewhere and then you got to figure it out on your own. They pay for all that. They arrange it. It's not just go find it on your own. So it doesn't matter if she has money or not. If she's PCSing, that's on the Army. That's not on her. And you don't go to a recruiting office to get travel vouchers or to get money to PCS somewhere. That's absolutely freaking stupid. And no colonel I have ever seen has their uniform looking like that. Colonels are just they're on point. Their uniforms are perfectly ironed, perfectly creased. Boots are perfect. Her hair is crazy. Her uniform looks like she just woke up after 5 days of sleeping in it, not showering. She's got all kinds of crap. And you don't take out a loan in a recruiting office. Okay, so she said she can't walk long distances in boots. Boots can be uncomfortable. Um, they can be uncomfortable. They're not for a lot of people. And by the time you become a colonel, you're comfortable walking in boots. The only time I was ever uncomfortable wearing boots is when I first enlisted and I didn't really know how to tie them properly. I would tie them too tight around my ankle and it would make some kind of weird mark. But like I told you before, the only time you're authorized to wear tennis shoes is if you have a soft shoe profile, which she obviously doesn't. I kind of have a feeling that maybe she has someone in her family who's been in the military, because she does know certain lingo. But obviously, and if she was ever in the military, she probably didn't graduate from basic, or she probably didn't graduate from AIT. But she does know enough.
To slip by some people.
Yeah, to slip by people who don't know.
Yeah.
And her uniform,
for the most part, looks decent.
I mean, it's not the neatest uniform, but she doesn't have all this crap on there that she shouldn't have, like 18,000 patches or. So I think she might have been in the military and just didn't make it, or she has a husband, brother, father, someone who's in the military. It's a big old recruiting office. It reminds me of the one I went through, as opposed to these small ones where we live. Okay, that was quick. Okay, the next video is, let's see, it is called Basic Training March 2005 to May 2005, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Now, I went to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri for my OSAT training. I was an MP. Fort Leonard Wood, as far as Army, if I can remember correctly because it's been a while, is Chemical Engineering MP. I know that the Air Force trains there. What for? I don't remember. I know the Marines train there for whatever they call AIT, which is job training. But this is the engineering, and these are drill sergeant. That's drill sergeant and chemical. So this is called the Maneuver Support Center. We're just going to watch their basic. That's MP. Oh, and transportation. Transportation goes up there too. Okay, so first off, that is called a cattle truck. It literally is a cattle truck. Like, we live across the street from a cattle company. What they transport cows in is literally that. We were in that. That's how they transported us, unless it was like in a 2-ton or something. You spend a whole lot of time in cattle trucks in basic training. It's very, very tight. There's these poles that are inside there, which I don't really know what they're for. I guess it's like
To tie them up.
the support. So I don't know. But it's really, really confined and hot in them cattle trucks. This is day 0, I'm assuming. They call it shark attack now or something like that, which is really stupid. It's really stupid now, new soldiers. But day 0, you get off that truck, and that is so true. They will be in your face, yelling and screaming. There's a lot of drill sergeants just yelling at you, and they're not all telling you to do the same thing. One will be like, "Go sit over there," and this one will be like, "Get down and push."
Is that why you and Dad do that to me?
Yeah.
That shit pisses me off so much. It's like, I'm trying to do this. Quit telling me to do that. I can't be in 2 places at once.
Now, I want to make sure that we're clear that I'm not saying that these 2 videos on basic training in Fort Leonard Wood are not true. I don't know what basic training is like now. I enlisted in 1999, so things have changed. From what I understand, there's a lot of more leniency in basic training, like having cell phones, which is absolutely crazy to me. I got 1 call a week, 1 5-minute call a week, on a payphone with phone card out in the company area, and now they have cell phones. I'm not saying that these are inaccurate. What I'm doing is commenting on the difference between when I went to basic training and what they are now. That's why I used where I went to basic training. I was part of Echo Company, 795th MP Battalion. Woo woo! MPs. They rock. Nobody likes MPs. Also, something else I'm going to comment on. Delta Company, 1st Battalion, 3rd Training Brigade, 48th Infantry Regiment. I don't even remember where they were. I don't. Honestly, other than the barracks right across from us, I didn't have any knowledge or interaction with any other basic training unit. You have very little interaction with other people during IET. It's true. That's so true.
I'm sure.
That happens. Right here in my unit, we had someone, I don't remember his name because I only saw him during reception and then 0 day. But right here, as we were all getting off the truck and they were yelling at us, he took off running. Just dropped his shit and took off running. And I never saw him again. Pretty sure he got kicked out of the Army.
No, this is a video we should react to where this YouTuber does a challenge from her fans where she goes through basic training for like 4 days for the Marines.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I was like,
woohoo, 4-day training. So, what was I going to say? this time can be really stressful for some people. Some people start crying. Some people start hyperventilating. It can be a lot for people. It wasn't that bad for me, mainly because of how I grew up. So people yelling in my face wasn't that bad. I'll tell you, my 3 biggest pet peeves was 0 day. 1, no drill sergeant was telling you to do the same damn thing.
That's going to irritate me a lot.
2, they were in my face and their breath was nasty, or they were spitting in my face while they were yelling. And 3, although I had prepared for Army basic training because I just recently left the Navy, so I was still kind of in shape. I seriously misunderstood what it was going to be like in the Army. Navy boot camp is drastically different than Army basic training. So we go. It looks like the cattle trucks have changed since I was in. That one has some kind of, those have windows, like real legit windows. Ours didn't have windows.
Looks like an RV.
Yeah, it does. It's got paneling on it and it's got windows and stuff. Ours was not like that. We had for real legit cattle trucks. And none of our drill sergeants were helping us with our stuff. Now okay, so our barracks in reception, you know what? I actually don't remember where we were staying in reception. That's kind of weird. Our barracks in basic were old. You know what? I do remember reception barracks. They were old as fuck. There's concrete showers and stuff. Like the floor and the walls were concrete. Our barracks in basic, these are the barracks, weren't that bad. We, the females were all in one bay. I can't remember how many there were, but there weren't a whole lot. I think there was maybe 20 of us. But the males had a whole floor. And we only had one little room and one bathroom. But I remember those barracks. They were pretty cool. So you see that the 3 drill sergeants kind of teaming up on one guy. We had a guy in our basic unit named Housing Gay. He did not graduate from basic training. In fact, they didn't even tell him until the day before graduation that he wasn't graduating. He was not the best soldier at all. They picked him on 0 day. Like they saw him, was like, you know what, that's who we're gonna get. And they just attacked him. Like sharks. Maybe that's why they call it Shark Week or Shark Day or Shark Tank or whatever that Shark Attack. And they picked on him the whole time. They picked on me, too. Let me explain. I was a lot younger, smaller than I am now. Yeah. And I had a squeaky voice. So at first they called me Valley because I'm from Southern California. And I did sound like a Valley girl. Until I got hurt, I dislocated my shoulder. And then they started calling me Righty. And then once my drill sergeants got to know me better, they started calling me PITA. Which is PITA, and it stood for pain in the ass. At one point, I believe during White Phase, we got a bunch of drill sergeant candidates. People who were in school to be drill sergeants, and they were going to learn from us. And one of them, Drill Sergeant Staples, he had it in for me. Oh my God. I don't know what I did to him, but he like attached himself to me. He hated me. But then on graduation day, he came up and was like, I did it because I knew you could be a good soldier. And I was like, but you didn't have to be an asshole. Straight asshole. I love you, Drill Sergeant Staples.
Physical.
I swear to God, that's Drill Sergeant Staples right there. That's what I'm talking about. One person can be yelling in your face, and they're saying something else. I wonder if there's anything past 0 day. Okay, so here's something you probably didn't notice. Right there, those things hanging, dog tags. That big thing, that's not part of her dog tags. That's her earplug case. That's just hanging. They use different earplugs than what we had now. But that little white thing hanging on her dog tags, it's a toe tag. It's this little plastic rubber. I think it's rubber. This little rubber like holder. You can put a dog tag in it.
Oh yeah.
But it's a little plastic. I keep saying plastic. A little rubber thing that's made to be your toe tag. And I'm not gonna lie. That was weird carrying around your own toe tag. It was kind of morbid to carry your own toe tag around. Do you know what a toe tag is?
Mm.
When you die, they tie a little thing around your foot to say who you are. All that stuff. You know, in movies, it's usually like a piece of paper.
Okay.
But Army has toe tags. Oh, speaking of which, my dog tags were incorrect. I had 6 different sets of dog tags in basic training. One, my whole name wouldn't fit on the dog tag. So they had to keep trying to figure out a way to shorten it. So my first name is 12 letters and then a hyphen. Or 12 letters and a hyphen. It wouldn't all fit on the dog tag. They got my blood type wrong twice. At first it said O positive, and then it was like B negative, and I was like, what the hell? That's not my blood type. And that's kind of important to have your blood type accurate. And then my religion was wrong. I was a Buddhist. I was Jewish. I was Muslim. Every time I got dog tags, something on it was inaccurate. And at one point, I was just going to say, fuck it, I'll just be whoever they want me to be. But we were getting inspected, and they was looking at my dog tag and asking me something, and I answered incorrectly because it didn't match my dog tag. And that's when they were like, you know what, we're going to get this straight. Finally. You write down everything that, and I had been, and I'm going to personally make sure your dog tags are correct. This looks closer to what I went through because they're wearing BDUs. And they're wearing BDU caps. So this looks closer to what I went through than probably the next one. Now, when I was in basic, we had the old school gray PT uniforms, which I'll show you real quick. They were basically just like cotton. This is not it. This is not
That
it
one?
at all. No. These. They were sweatshirts. They were regular old sweatpants type things. And they were extremely comfortable.
There's mine.
They were inappropriate. The shorts, the summer PTs, the shorts on the males were a little revealing. The shirts on the females were quite revealing as well. But they were comfortable as hell. Red phase is when they start introducing this, the IPFU, the improved physical fitness uniform, the one that was gray and black and reflective. And those weren't necessarily comfortable, but it did feel newer, better. I loved my PT jacket. This is the winter PT, that's the summer PT. The shorts were actually pretty comfortable, and they had a lining in it, even for females, which was uncomfortable. The lining was... I haven't watched any of these videos, so I don't know if this is all just 0 day. Okay, no, it's not all 0 day. Okay, so this is the Warrior Tower. Real quick, we, someone not in our unit, a different unit, someone had gotten injured, seriously injured, on the Warrior Tower, so our schedule got bumped back, I think 2 weeks, a week or 2 weeks, and some of the National Guard members actually got recalled because it was going to take longer for us to go through basic. So we ended up going to go do the Warrior Tower, and then they stopped because someone got hurt. So I never actually got to do that part. And I don't know how we graduated without doing that. I thought that was required, but I didn't get to do the Warrior Tower. Go down. Because I can't comment on it, I'm not going to. Because I didn't get to do it.
And like, it looks simple, but it isn't at the same time.
You know what the hardest thing for me to do in basic was, and this is going to sound stupid, I couldn't do it in high school, I couldn't do it in the Navy, can't do it in the Army, still can't do it, is to climb up the rope.
I can kind of do that. Me and Summer used to do that on the little metal poles that we had at West Auto. I could kind of do it like halfway, and then I was like, I can't do it anymore.
I couldn't, and I was so embarrassed. Because I wasn't the only one who couldn't do it, but I was like one of 5 who couldn't do it. And we had quite a few people in our unit, and I couldn't do it. And I hated that. Everything else, I didn't find any of the physical stuff hard. But I was embarrassed that I couldn't do that damn rope. And it's just a rope. You just climb up the rope. But in my defense, though, I didn't have to do that in school like a lot of the other people did. So they already had experience climbing up the damn rope. I actually had to do it for the fire academy later on, and I did it enough to pass that part. But yeah, if anyone ever throws me a rope to try and save my life, I'm just gonna die. I don't know why none of them have their covers on. That's kind of irritating to me. And I don't know what the hell they're doing right now. Again, I didn't do the Warrior Tower, so we're just going to skip through that. Oh, I think that's it. So this next one is, looks like 3 soldiers in basic training. What's this video called? What basic training at Fort Leonard Wood is like.
Part 1.
Part 1. We didn't have cell phones. Cell phones, actually, they were a thing when I was in basic. I'm not that old, but they weren't as, not everybody had cell phones back then. Their barracks room looks pretty damn nice. They got lamps and pretty damn nice stuff. Pretty jealous, actually.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the
You know what? I'm assuming this is winter time, since he said go to basic training in the winter. I went to basic training in the winter. I went to Fort Leonard Wood in the winter time. Like I said, I am from Southern California, where the coldest it gets is 70 degrees. And I went to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and I think the warmest it got was 10 degrees. There were 4 specific times where it got so cold, the Army decided not to train. That's hard to do. The Army trains through anything. They don't give a fuck. We had people breaking stuff and spraining stuff because they were slipping on ice. Before every obstacle where there's all that indentation in the ground from everyone running had just iced over. In fact, real quick, this is how special I am during the night infiltration course. When you know you're going to be low crawling and just getting all in the mud and stuff. I was cold. I was freezing cold. I had on my polypros and my winter PTs, and I was still cold. So I put some hand warmers or glove warmers, I thought, inside between my BDU top and my brown t-shirt. But it turned out it wasn't. It had actually slipped behind my brown t-shirt and slipped into my sports bra. So as I was low crawling on the night infiltration course, it started to get warm in my shirt region. And after we got past that specific part of the course where you're low crawling, I stood up and ripped my my BDU top off and my polypro, and I took my brown t-shirt off. I was sitting there, and it was like literally like 5 degrees, maybe even 0 degrees. Freezing cold, winter, snow, wind blowing, and I was just standing there in my BDU bottoms and my sports bra because I'd gotten 2nd-degree burns on my breasts from the hand warmers, the 2 hand warmers that I'd accidentally put in my bra. Had burned. It heated up my dog tag, and it was starting to melt my toe tag, and there was like burns all over my chest, and I got an Article 15 for destruction of government property, meaning me. And I got a counseling, like, I got bitched at for being topless. Not completely topless, but semi-topless, in front of people. Because I burned myself. I was so cold. I was absolutely freezing. It's super cold in Missouri in the wintertime. We're going to skip their introductions. Truck driver. Why do they have cell phones? Obviously, the difference between when I went and them is they have cell phones.
And lamps.
And lamps. And I'm irritated and very, very, very pissed that they have cell phones and lamps. That kind of sucks. Although we did have lamps. Did we have lamps in AIT? I don't remember. I don't think it was that big of a deal for me to have a lamp, because I don't remember. Once I did graduate from basic and go to AIT, I did buy a shitload of stuff I probably shouldn't have bought, like real underwear and boots, lots of boots, because I did not like the combat boots that we got issued. So I bought jump boots and jungle boots and all the other boots I possibly could. And because you have to wear a specific type of underwear as a female, I went and bought the underwear I like and I prefer. And I bought a lot of perfume too, because you can't smell like anything in basic. Shut up, you're weird looking at me like that. Yeah.
You're not told by your recruiters.
I agree with that. If you're going to go into the army, before you go to basic, you should work on PT. And I don't mean you should be able to max out the PT test, but you should find out what the standard is for you. the minimum standard is, and at least achieve that. At the very least, achieve that. Now, it's not going to be you go to day 1 of basic training and you're going to have to be able to run the 2 miles in a minute or do 800 push-ups and sit-ups. But you should be able to get to the minimum standard, because they will work with you over that time and build you up to where you can pass the PT test, the final PT test. But I do wish that I had focused more on the Army's PT test than just PT in general.
With our cadet field manual and our cadet reference manual, we have little PT charts of your age and how many sit-ups you can do for a female and how many push-ups and how many minutes you can take with certain goals, like the highest, the lowest, and what's in between both of them. And I try and at least get what's in between both of them for female.
Yeah, I never maxed out my PT. I never maxed out the run. Because although I did track in high school, I'm not good at long distance running. And I learned in basic training that I don't know how to breathe when I run.
I don't either.
But I did max out the push-ups and the sit-ups. I rocked at those. The run always kind of got me. I always passed, but I never did super well as much as I would have liked to. But that I agree with that. PT, you should definitely work on that before you go. And I don't know, I'll have to look it up. I don't know what the PT test consists of now. But when I was in, we just had to do push-ups, sit-ups, and a 2-mile run. But I know that it's changed. You know what? Let's look it up real quick. Okay, physical fitness test. Army basic training physical fitness test. That is so gross. Stop doing that. Okay, it's called the Army Combat Fitness Test. Everything changes. We're just going to download the chart from the Army because it's not just giving me, and it won't let me do it. I just want to know what the PT test consists of. Okay, female. We'll say I'm 17. Okay, it's still says just push-ups, sit-ups, and 2-mile run. I thought it was supposed to be more. I thought that it had changed somehow. Let's see what it is for me now. I could totally do all that now. If I took the PT test right now, I could pass. Push-ups for me in 2 minutes. And basic training is 6. Sit-ups, 29. 2-mile run in 24 minutes. That's pretty pathetic, actually.
What would be mine?
Well, it won't go that low for you.
Round up to 1700 or something.
Let's see. For basic training, you have to do 13 push-ups, 47 sit-ups, and run the 2-mile in 19 minutes and 42 seconds. You can do it. I know you can do it.
I can do the push-ups and probably most likely the sit-ups, but I don't know about the running. I don't know how to control my heart or my breathing when I run. That's always been my biggest thing.
Okay. I didn't get a sign-on bonus. I'll agree with that. They will give you a lot of chances to pass the PT test. They will try and help you. The drill sergeants aren't there to make you leave, to kick you out, to find some way for you not to do it. They want to help you. They want you to be the best that you can be. Be all you can be. Woo, go Army. And they will help you if you are trying. If you're just not passing it because you're just
like
not
going with the motion.
Yeah, they don't care.
As soon as she says, if you're going with the motion, you're dragging the chain down. We don't need that type of chain link. Just cut it off. But if you're actually trying, then they're gonna help you.
Mm-hmm. I don't know anything about sign-on bonuses because I didn't get one. But you know what? Since they're talking about money, I'll tell you this. The one financial thing I wish I had known before basic training was the Star Card. For those who don't know what a Star Card is, it's a military credit card. You can use a Star Card at clothing and sales, the PX, all that good stuff. Like I said, when I graduated from basic, I went to the PX and I bought all the things I couldn't have for the last however many weeks because I'm counting reception too. I overbought with my Star Card. I didn't max it out, but I damn near maxed it out. I think I did max it out by the time I graduated from AIT. I bought a lot of stuff. A lot of bullshit stuff I didn't actually need. Like I bought extra uniforms just in case and countless of everything. The Star Card I don't have credit right now. I don't have bad credit. I don't have any credit. I don't buy things I can't afford. So I very rarely have had a card note. I've never had a credit card other than the Star Card. So I would suggest that if you're younger, 17, 18, 19, actually up until 21, get a Star Card, but don't overspend. Don't use a whole lot of it. It helps build credit, I believe. It does now. But it can be very enticing to buy stupid stuff that you don't need. I don't think reception is the slowest and uneventful as they are making out to be. I enjoyed reception, actually. I'm not gonna lie, I snuck cigarettes in. Because I didn't take everyone's advice and quit smoking before I got to basic. The only thing I didn't like about reception was there was a lot of fights. It was like juvenile hall in there. There was a lot of fights. One specifically, I remember while we were going to eat breakfast, and there was a huge fight in the hallway between I can't remember what, but reception is where you get your shots at. I thought I didn't have to get my shots because I got them in the Navy, but there are some shots the Army decided I needed to get more of, which made me feel like ass, like the anthrax. Horrible. Anthrax should be illegal. Anthrax vaccine should be illegal.
But yeah, so
We didn't get issued Camelbacks.
I know for a fact I'll be good with hydration because you know from dealing with me, I will have like 5,000 bottles next to my bed and I'll go through them all, or a jug of water. So I'm good with that. I'll be good with that. And plus, I can control how many times I go to the bathroom. So I'll go like once at school.
It's not so much how much you have to drink, it's or even how often. It's they want you to drink your entire canteen. Well, I don't know because now you get issued Camelbacks. We did not get issued Camelbacks. We could buy them, but we didn't get issued them. We had canteens, and you had to drink the entire canteen all in one thing, and then prove that you drank it all. I didn't pee a whole lot in basic.
I feel like that's gonna be me.
But I drank a lot. I drank way more water then than I have probably the entire time I've been out. I drank a lot of water in basic AIT. In fact, during my entire military career, not just while I was in training, we drank a lot of water. Not only because you have to hydrate, it's part of the Army thing. You know, oh, I broke my leg, drink some water, you'll be fine. Drink water. 6 weeks. So they're saying don't buy phones because they're more expensive on base, on post. They probably are. I don't know. I never bought a cell phone. Yes, I did. I did buy a cell phone. But people buy cars wherever they go. Every time they go to a new duty station or they get deployed or they're wherever, they buy cars. Don't buy a car just because now you have all this money while you're in the military. That's stupid. And you're not going to be able to afford it. Or the insurance, because you're going to buy some stupid, souped up, super expensive car that you can't afford. I did not buy a car. I wasn't stupid. I didn't buy a car.
If I were to buy a car, I would probably get like the cheapest one that I can deal with. If I get it from a dealer, I'd probably get the cheapest. If I don't get it from a dealer, I'd probably get it like used, so I could be cheap with it. And then if I was moved somewhere else where I couldn't take my car, I would just deal with it or ride with somebody. I'm not gonna be stupid enough to.
Now, once I became permanent party, I bought a new car because my old car had just and died. It was done. I spent all my money on uniform stuff. Cannot believe they have phones. You know, they're saying they're in AIT now. And in AIT, we still couldn't have certain things. When we left post, when we did get passes and stuff, we could go into the storage and get our. I had a Discman because this is how old this is. And I would go get my cell phone and my cigarettes and all my other stuff when I had a pass, but we couldn't just have them all the time. They were locked up in storage.
Me and Abby and Patricia, when we were at the mall one day, we saw this guy who was third wheeling with his friends, and he was fresh in the Navy, and his name's Noah Hoover. He's a cool guy. But it was so crazy because they were in like a hotel room or whatever. Their room looked like a fucking hotel room. I was like, what? And he was telling us all about this. I was like, man, I'm like at the time 15 and I felt old as fuck. I haven't even been in there yet. And we were showing each other stuff, and like Abby and Patricia were like, what are y'all talking about? And I'm just like, I'm just talking about faces and stuff. And they were
Teenage story.
Yeah, sorry. And so he was showing us different things they had to do. Plus, they, of course, when we were doing bellringing, a bunch of military people were stocked up in a small Jeep car type, whatever taxi cab. And it was crazy. They're assholes, too. New military people are assholes.
True. It's very true.
I wanted to punch them so bad. This one dude, I wanted to punch him so bad in the face. Was like, I'm in uniform. I can't do this. I can't do it. He's military. I wanted to so bad. It's like every ounce of me not to. Continue, because I'm getting pissed all over again.
I have no idea what the point of that story was.
I'm just saying how you were. Just fucking go on.
Yes, I completely agree. Learn the Soldier's Creed, the Army Corps values, the Army song, and your general orders. Those are definitely things you should memorize beforehand. You can't really see in this picture, but I have the Soldier's Creed right here. Yeah, and Soldier's Creed's up here, and then the Oath of Enlistment. I keep it on my wall because I actually get my wallet. I keep the. I still have my old little values tag. It has the Army Corps values on the front and the soldier's code on the back. I still have mine. Even though it's super old and it's like faded.
Tell how old it
like
is.
it's all faded and the white part's kind of yellow now because it's super faded. But it has the soldier's code on it, the Army Corps values. I still have mine because mine was special to me. I felt I was very proud to be a soldier. But you should definitely memorize that stuff before you get there because it's going to be super hard. You are going to have to learn so much stuff in basic. There is a lot of classroom work, which they don't tell you either. In fact, that was probably, I am a huge nerd. I love school. Love school. I love learning. But there is so much being crammed into you at one time. Not only with the classroom work, but the other parts of basic like U.S. weapons and drill and ceremony and uniforms and all that stuff. So knowing stuff ahead of time would be very helpful.
Before you get to
They didn't do that to us. What happened with us is if you didn't know the answer, if let's say you were in the DFAC, you were in line, and they asked you a question, you didn't know the answer, they just dropped you. They made you do push-ups. We didn't get sent to the back of the line.
be waiting in line for
Hurry up and wait. Army's real motto. Oops. I don't know what I just did. Oh.
That was.
They just randomly ended their video. I thought there was more to it, but apparently not. They just ended it randomly. So here are the things I wish I knew before basic. 1, the star card. 2, the lack of sleep you're actually going to get. And it's not so much you don't have a whole lot of time to sleep, it's that you're going to be woken up to do guard for an hour, which is going to go by so slow, and then you go back to sleep for 2-3 hours, which is going to go by really fast. I wish I had known how how unique the situation is. By that I mean how unique the people are going to be. And it's not so much that there's so many different people there. We had people from different countries in my unit, and I didn't know that. And sometimes it was a little difficult to communicate with certain people. We had people from all kinds of countries that I didn't even know we were allies with. So that's actually true. I went to training at Fort Rucker. I was a 93 Papa, which I don't know what it is now. But it was aviation operations specialist, and we had foreign pilots training there. There was a lot of people I interacted with that English was not their first language, and that was kind of difficult. I wasn't prepared for other people not being emotionally stable. A lot of people had tried to commit suicide or did some stupid stuff. I wasn't ready for that. And that's more of a me thing. I assume other people can handle what I can or will react the same way I will. So I wasn't ready for that many emotionally unstable people.
So it was like that, how I reacted with that video towards how you reacted when I saw it. Oh shit.
What she's talking about, she saw a very graphic video and she had a very emotional reaction to it, and I had no reaction to it. That is because I've become desensitized to certain things because of jobs that I've previously had. So there are certain graphic things that don't bother me as much as it would another person because I've become desensitized. Not because you're emotional or anything. It has nothing to do with you.
I'm an emotional person. I will admit to that.
You are an emotional person. You can't take the stuff that the drill sergeants say personally. I don't know what they're allowed to say or do now. When I went to basic, they could be as mean as they wanted to.
I heard they can't call you maggot.
I don't know. They said some pretty... It wasn't that it hurt my feelings because of what they said.
It was just, damn.
There were certain drill sergeants that I really liked. Like, not like, ooh, romantic, but like I really liked. They were really cool. Drill Sergeant Bruff was awesome. And when he did get in my face or yell at me or call me something, it like hurt. Like, oh, I like you. It's like if your parents say they're disappointed in you. Drill Sergeant Taylor, we had two, a male and a female. I did not like the male. But the female Drill Sergeant Taylor, when she got mad and she yelled at us, even if it was like a general thing, like she was yelling at the entire platoon, it still kind of hurt.
Master Chief, the one time he got mad and snapped in class, I honestly started tearing up. I'm not gonna lie.
If Master Chief yelled at me, I would tear up too.
And like, this girl just ran me out of nowhere.
Grandpa he is.
She was like, "You're so fucking annoying, Master Chief. I hate you." I was like, "How dare you say that to Master Chief?" He was like, "Shut up, Rem." I was like, "Oh, okay." And he was like, "You know what? I'm so sick and fucking tired of all you kids. Y'all piss me off." And he was like, "You know what? I'm gonna have Student Chief come in here." And he walked out. I was like, "Oh my god."
I'm glad I don't get monetized. I'm glad I'm not a real YouTuber because this whole video would have been demonetized. Let's see what else. I learned a lot about myself medically. I didn't know that I had a bone spur in my foot. At one point, they thought it was a falling arch, which you can be medically discharged from the Army for having falling arches. And there was a small period of time where they thought my arches were falling. It turns out I had a bone spur. For those who don't know what a bone spur is, it's a growth on your bone. Mine was in my arch right here. And I didn't know that I didn't know how to breathe properly when I ran.
I know that.
I did have a side hustle, though. When I went to basic, you couldn't have sugar, you couldn't have salt, you couldn't have taste.
Oh my god.
So I bought a bunch of Sun-Kissed vitamin C tablets from the PX. From the mini PX we were allowed to go to once a week. I bought a bunch of those and I was selling them to people because they tasted very sugary. They tasted like candy. But they weren't candy and they were authorized for certain people to buy. I also bought some travel Febreze and sold it as body spray to the other females because we couldn't smell good. Bought a lot of stuff. I did a lot of stuff I shouldn't have done. I got 2 Article 15s in basic training. Once for theft of government property because I took a box of cereal out of the DFAC. And once for smoking. I'm a smoker. I've always been a smoker. Oh, I take that back. I had 3 because I got Article 15 for fraternization. Now, before anyone judges me, this fraternization, and I'm not going to say his name because you'll see this, was with a Marine. A Marine who remained nameless. A Lance Corporal, I believe he was then. He kissed me in front of people. We were the same rank, but he was in a different branch, and he was not in IET status, meaning he wasn't in the same level of training. I was in basic, and he wasn't. JA, you know who you are. You got me in Article 15.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, it was worth it. That's why I'm not mad at it. Okay, so my daughter had to go. I'm going to do the last 2 React videos by myself. The military fails and the TikTok bashing of the military. TikTok video by the girl who's bashing the military. So this is a YouTuber. Sorry, she's not a YouTuber as far as I know. This is a TikTok video of someone named Haley's Comet. In her opinion, her uneducated opinion, and I say uneducated because she obviously had never been in the military, possibly had never known anyone in the military, is giving her 2 cents, and I'm going to tell you everything that's wrong with this video.
Because they know that those factors are supposed to be.
So, a poverty draft is where recruiters go into low-income neighborhoods and they recruit children, young adults, with the promise of a livable wage and a college education. How dare the Department of Defense do that? Who in their right mind would give someone who's had a poor upbringing because of finances a college education for free? Or a livable wage? A legal way of earning money. DOD should be ashamed of themselves. I don't think she understands that people who didn't grow up with money, that's a huge benefit. That's not me selling my soul for something small. That's a job that gives you medical benefits, dental, optometry, life insurance, education, money, a chance to make something better of yourself, to get out of the situation that you're in so that you're not continuing that cycle. I don't think she understands that because she might have grown up with a little bit more money than the average person. But she's saying it as that's a bad thing, and it's not a bad thing. That's a great thing. Those kids who live in these poverty-stricken areas, low-income neighborhoods, need a job that's legal, need something to do to bring themselves out of poverty.
United States government has
A livable wage. That is what stuck with me the most. So I currently live in the state of Mississippi, where over 19% of the citizens in this state live below the poverty line. 19% live below poverty. So a livable wage, a wage where you can pay your bills and still maybe even have a little bit more to buy your own food and not need food stamps or welfare. It's called TANF here. I think, I'm not going to lie, I'm not 100% sure if welfare and TANF are the same thing, but I think they are. TANF is temporary assistance for needy families. Don't quote me. I don't know. I don't get TANF. I don't know. But I think that's the same thing as welfare. Why would we not want to help give an opportunity to someone to pull themselves out of poverty? I don't understand that. A livable wage isn't a negative thing. The ASVAB is called the ASVAB, Armed Services Aptitude Vocational Battery. I I printed one out and gave it to my daughter, her to practice on, because she wants to enlist, and she's taking it right now, actually. Practice ASVAB. No, the ASVAB does not measure what rank they want to put you in. It does not measure. It doesn't measure what unit they want to put you in. Your ASVAB test scores have nothing to do with your rank or your unit. Let me explain that. I have an above average IQ, and I had a moderate upbringing as far as financial, where I lived and everything. I'm middle class. And there are parts of the ASVAB that I completely failed because I know absolutely nothing at the time. I knew absolutely nothing about cars. I had never even pumped my own gas. Never changed a tire. So the mechanical parts, the tools and cars and mechanical part, I absolutely did horribly crappy on. But the math and the paragraph comprehension, I did great on. I went to multiple different schools growing up. I was in foster care for the better part of my childhood. I went to 23 different schools that had different levels of education, meaning some schools taught you more than others. Some schools were more focused on your education than others. Some were more focused on test scores. And there were times when I didn't go to public school. I got educated in a different type of way because of the group home I was in or the facility I was in. So I would say that I probably had a below average educational upbringing or educational experience as a child. And I still did pretty damn good on the ASVAB. The ASVAB has nothing to do with how you were raised, what kind of environment you were raised in. It has to do with your comprehension of things. What you personally, not only what you can comprehend, but what you do know. I'm not going to lie, it has a lot to do with that too. The poorer you are financially does not mean that if you're poor financially does not mean that you're going to do bad on the ASVAB. Okay, she just said, let's listen to that again. I'm going to turn this up. First of all, 11 Bravo is not a rank, it's an MOS. 11 Bravo is infantry. I don't think she understands what the word rank means. Not everyone can be an 11 Bravo. I can't. I'm a female. I don't know how it is now. Your ASVAB scores give you a range of different jobs that you are qualified to do or that you are suited to do. One of the jobs I was suited or qualified to do was petroleum laboratory technician, although it didn't sound in any way appealing to me, so I didn't take that. 11 Bravo, there is nothing wrong with being an 11 Bravo, first of all. Just because you're an 11 Bravo doesn't mean you're stupid. Doesn't mean that you did poorly on the ASVAB. There are some people who want to be an 11 Bravo. That's their dream. And if I was a male, I would have been an 11 Bravo. That'd be awesome. Actually, I think I still would have been an MP.
Payment 11B
We don't put poor people in the front lines. That's not in any way true. Everyone is equally pieces of crap in the military. It doesn't matter what childhood you had, what background you're from, what background you had. The Army doesn't care. The Army will tell you from the get-go, everyone is equally pieces of shit. If you are an 11 Bravo, that doesn't mean that you had a poor childhood or you're stupid. Just because you're an intelligence doesn't mean that you had a great background financially. Just because you're a doctor. There are people who literally were homeless as a child who became doctors in the military or pilots or freaking neurosurgeons. It doesn't really freaking matter what your childhood is. What matters is how you did on the ASVAB and how you are as a soldier, how you are as a person. That's what really matters. But we're not ready to talk about that. It was me reacting to those specific videos. Not all my videos are going to be military based or law enforcement or corrections, but I'm just starting, and this is all I can think of to do right now. Plus, my beautiful daughter suggested it.
Plus, I'll be doing my own, where I'll be probably most likely reacting to stuff, as well as looking at whether they're real or fake crime scene pictures and saying what I think happened, and then showing out what.
Yeah, there's this game, this YouTube video. Or it's not a YouTube thing. It's a video. It's a game with videos. That shows you a crime, interviews with a suspect, and you have to figure out what happened and who did it. It's kind of like Clue in a way, but it's with real crime scene footage and real interrogation footage. We've played it before, and we came up with 2 different conclusions, so we're going to play it again. With this virus, quarantine, lockdown, we've got a lot of time on our hands, so we're going to be making YouTube videos now. Now we're YouTubers. But not like really cool YouTubers like Mr. GG or Angry Cops or Donut Operator or Black Rifle Coffee Company and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I watch on YouTube. So if y'all want to like send me some free coffee, I'm a broette. Send me some coffee.
I just watch Upchurch.
See, I watch cool YouTuber.
See, I watch gaming, Stolen Valor, and Upchurch.
You need to watch some of the people I do. They're awesome. Okay. Bye.